Hello, I'm Wes Turnbull, and welcome to Freemasons The Inside Story. In this episode, Justin White visits Ballarat to meet the Hardy family, and Jim Spreadborough is back with another From the Archives.
We're at the Ballarat Masonic Centre with the Hardy family, 3 generations of Ballarat born and bred men. Gents, thank you very much for coming today. We've got Bob, who's 90, Ivan, who's 60, and Chrys, who's 18. So welcome.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah.
Ivan, if you could start by giving us a bit of a background on your life and your history in Ballarat.
We lived in Humphrey Street, in a house that Dad and Mum worked on and built. Had a really good upbringing, lovely parents. We had 5 children. I've 2 sisters and 2 other brothers and myself. And Dad only had 1 wage, and Mum made that work. And Dad worked at the railways, and then when he finished working at the railways, he came home and he'd load the van up and we'd all go off and help him paint houses just to bring in some extra income. We thought that was pretty special. He involved all of us together, and we were a really closely knit family, and we still are.
Bob, can you tell me a little bit about how you found Freemasonry when you were young and why you joined Freemasonry?
Well, at first I heard the good side of it and I heard the bad side of it. So I said, there's only one thing to do, have a go joining him and find for myself. And I done exactly that. It was a funny thing, at the workshops, word got around that Hardy wanted to join the Masons. And the secretary of Pineal Lodge worked on the railways, so it helped me a lot. And to get into Freemasonry was beautiful. They're a great, friendly people. They're there to do you a turn at any time. A lot of people look down at them, but they shouldn't. And I advise any young person to have a go at it.
Chrys, you're 18 years old. Can you tell us a little bit about Freemasonry and what it's done for your family?
Definitely. I'm a triplet, so I've got 2 sisters with my dad and 2 other brothers and another sister. So we were a pretty big family. Growing up, you know, never wanted for anything. They were fantastic parents, fantastic grandparents. Started school, really liked that. It was pretty cool. Got to high school, started getting into academics and music and all that, and finished year 12 this year. Next year I'm hoping to go to Monash, do medicine, eventually become a neurosurgeon, fingers crossed. The Freemason side, I noticed Pop would, you know, as Dad would say, would go out in his little suit a couple of nights and all that, and I was a bit curious about that. Once Dad joined, I was like, right, I want to see what this is all about. And when I asked them, they never told me. And I was like, well, I'm going to figure this out. So a day after my 18th birthday, I joined the lodge, and yeah, it's been pretty good.
Ivan, what has Freemasonry meant to your family along the way? What has it done for you?
Like Christopher said, when Dad was going to lodge, I was only about 10, and he walked past one night in his suit and he looked pretty all right, and I thought, where are you going? And he had his little black bag and he said, I'm going to lodge. I said, what lodge? I said, oh, can we come? Because we've always been involved in everything as a family, and I thought, well, if we've been left out of this, there must be something going on. So Dad said, when you're old enough, you come and ask me. So it got right down to 18 years. And I found out we could join at 18. So I had an older brother, he was 2 years older, and a younger brother, 4 years younger. So we decided that we'd all wait and join together. So the 3 of us did our first, second, and on the week that we were going to do the third, I ended up in hospital with my appendix ruptured. So the two brothers went through, and then I had to wait till later. But what it's done to me, it's made me a better person. It's given me the chance to learn, which I didn't do at school. I was sports-minded. If I had applied myself, I could have done better, but I think I've come out of it all right. But now, when I go to lodge, there's a purpose in it. You walk in and you see the people around and the knowledge that's there. You want to be part of it. It's a must. So therefore, I've got myself some glasses and I'm reading the book, and I'm going in for my 3rd term as master next year. So I think Freemasonry has done me a lot, and I appreciate the chance that I've had to join it. I appreciate the company that's around and the support from the older ones. It's been unbelievable.
And lastly, Chrys, I just wanted to touch on you're 18,
Yeah.
and Freemasonry is obviously, you know, it's out there. What is some of the feedback you get and some of the challenges that you face when you talk to your friends that are your age about Freemasonry?
Well, it is a bit difficult because it is such an old organisation. It's usually associated with more middle-aged kind of people, or Dad's case, you know, a bit older. But it's I've had a mixed response when I said I was going to do it. A lot of my friends were just like, yeah, okay, it's pretty cool. It's like joining, you know, footy or something like that. But it has been met with a bit of controversy, I guess. Just people who don't know what it is and are a little bit like, well, I've heard things, and they've kind of. But I mean, it's been. I've found it great. Like the stuff I've learned. I mean, I've only been in it for 6 months, and the stuff I've learned is just fantastic. And you know, I think I've got an advantage over some of my friends who are against it and who aren't in it. But yeah, so it's good. Like, it's not. If you're young and you want to join, do it. Like, don't be scared of what your friends are going to say, because everyone's usually pretty supportive.
Gentlemen, thank you very much for coming today. It's been an honour and a pleasure to talk to you, and I wish you well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Erin Olsen, and we're here today at Sparks Reserve in Box Hill. With me is Colin Read, who plays 2nd row in the Box Hill Veterans Rugby team, the Unquenchables. Hi Colin, thanks for having us here today.
Hi, how are you, Erin?
So Colin, the Veterans Rugby team, just how many years have you been playing rugby for?
Only 4 years, so this is my 5th. So, it all started when a friend of mine who used to play for the Box Hill Rugby wanted to re-establish contact with the club, said come down with me. Happened to be a Thursday night. I was standing in the windows up there looking out at these old blokes playing rugby, and I said, oh, who are those old blokes? And he said, oh, they're the Quenchies. And I didn't know what they were. They all came up, welcomed me with open arms, said come down for a run, and I said, look, I haven't played rugby in my life, never picked up a ball. They said, we don't care, it's just for fitness. 5 weeks later I was asked to join the team. Little did I know that they hadn't won a game for more than 12 months at that stage, and it took another 18 before we actually won a game.
So Colin, for us Victorians who tend to watch a bit more AFL than rugby, can you explain a little bit about your position within the team?
Normally 2nd row. That's because I don't really have any skills, so 2nd row is an easy place to be. We don't have contested scrums. It's more of an excuse to lean against each other and just puff a bit. Look, it's all about just enjoying the game and just having fun, and I think, look, I've played VFL when I was a kid. Most of my adult life I played basketball and squash. I've never played with a group of men who, without exception, I would say were absolute gentlemen. There's not one of these guys I wouldn't give my keys to my house. They're just brilliant men, so they're good.
And so what made you get involved in rugby at this stage in your life?
Well, more accidental, really. I stopped running because I hurt my knee. I used to do a lot of swimming as well. I think, once again, it goes back to these guys. You know, the fact that they just welcomed me, a total stranger, accepted the fact that I couldn't play rugby at all. As I said, they hadn't won a game for 12 months, so that was probably comforting for them. You know? And look, it was just, I just got welcomed to a team and a good bloke, bunch of blokes, and off we went.
It sounds like you guys have a lot of fun together. What have been some of the highlights for you so far?
I think one of the highlights was after playing with the Quenchies for 18 months and not winning a game, we went to play in the Masters comp in Adelaide. And that was a mixture of blokes from a number of teams, and we actually won. We became the grand finalist over there, so we were the Australian champions for 2 years. And then later that year we went to Cambodia on a rugby tour over there with the team, and we won over there. We won the cup. And there was a big joke in Cambodia that Colin's played with us for 18 months, had to go overseas to win a game.
Colin, can you tell us a little bit about your involvement in Freemasonry and how that all began?
My father-in-law got me into Freemasonry many years ago. I was a young man, young family, pregnant wife, 2 nights a week of night school. It just didn't work. I lasted 4 years, and then I had almost a 25-year break. And went back to Freemasonry coincidentally about the same time as I started playing rugby.
So what was it after 25 years that brought you back into Freemasonry?
I think the stability. I mean, during life there's lots of ups and downs, and I knew that the one stable thing was Freemasonry. It had been the same for 500 years or even 1,000 years, and I think I needed a bit of stability in my life at that time, and it's certainly given it to me.
So you rejoined with Freemasonry and started rugby, both about 4 years ago. Have you noticed any similarities between the two?
Yeah, they're probably very much the same. I mean, whether it's Freemasonry or rugby, we have a team captain that may or may change every year. We have set positions, we have set responsibilities to do. We achieve a lot personally within ourselves, but as a team, whether it's rugby or Freemasonry, the ultimate goal is to perform well as a team and to achieve as a team. And I think, you know, one's got a lot of physicality, the other's not, but in essence they're both the same. We're still two teams operating to achieve the best as a team, and I think with both we get that.
Great, thanks so much for your time, Colin. Best of luck this season with the team, and we'll certainly be keeping an eye out for you.
Good on you. Okay, thanks, thank you.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Spreadborough and welcome to From the Archives. Another couple of little different objects we have in our artefacts in our museum. This particular one, a good decent glass, would hold a good amount of nice red in it, and you will see all those beautiful Masonic etchings, engravings on the glass of the working tools of Freemasons, and a lot of other objects on it too, which is quite unique, very beautiful. Beautiful part about that is it's 1822. 1822. Again, how we come by this, not quite sure, but we'll find out, because it's just another little treasure in our library. This particular one was from the Philo Lodge of Philadelphia. It was given to us in 1905 when that lodge had its installation, and on the back of it, for example, there is a list of the officers of the lodge. 1905 from the Philo Lodge in Philadelphia. Another precious little treasure here in our library museum at Freemasonry, Victoria.
Hi, I'm Gabrielle Forman, and with me today are 4 very special ladies of Freemasonry. Gaye Keenan, Louise Eadon, Gaye Keenan and Rosemary Broad. Thanks for joining us today. Jane, I think I'll start with you in asking just how much you knew already of Freemasonry when you met Chrys, your husband.
When I first met Chrys, I really didn't know anything about Freemasonry, but then over time we started to go to functions with Chrys's family. There were many of his family who were already in Freemasonry, and I got to know lots of Freemasons that way. And then eventually Chrys decided he would join Freemasonry himself.
And by that stage, what was your impression of Freemasonry?
That it was a fraternity for men. They all appeared to have really good morals. Everyone was friendly. They had functions that involved all the family. So it wasn't an exclusive society just for men. There were times when the whole family was involved.
And Louise, what's your experience been like supporting your husband?
Well, when we first started, as Mark said, he joined in 1976 and I met him that year, but I had no idea what he was involved in it. When we got married, I think he just said one night, "Oh, I'm off to lodge with Dad," and I said, "Yep, okay, off you go." And you know, they go out the door with that black bag and everything, and I didn't really ever ask a lot of questions. I just let him go. After we had our kids, they asked him a lot more questions, but they liked it the nights he went out. And then, of course, as he got involved in ceremonial teams, there was a lot more involvement then, and I've enjoyed it.
Rosemary, perhaps you can tell me about your family history within Freemasonry. I understand not only your husband Ross is a Freemason, but your son Max, and it goes beyond Max as well.
That's right. Ross's father, Max Senior, has been in the craft nearly 65 years, and my husband Ross joined 32 years ago, and Max joined 3 years ago, about a week after he turned 18. And also a good friend of ours who's Max's godfather, he joined some years ago as well.
And are they all from the same lodge?
Yes, they are all at the same lodge, and they now all travel together. They all leave from our place on the 4th Tuesday of every month, and I usually wait up for them to come home for the little stories about what happened in the night.
It's a great night out for all of them. Just to be together, life's pretty busy, and just enjoy the company.
So do you think some of the principles and values of Freemasonry have certainly filtered down through your family?
Oh, for sure, yes. Starting from his grandfather, in fact both his grandparents, my mother-in-law Carmen, she was very involved in Freemasonry right from the beginning, and as she said, you know, she enjoyed all the fun times without all the hard work.
So do you think that Freemasonry today has changed and developed from what it was perhaps back in the 50s and 60s?
I think it's probably got more, the women have been more involved and more social events.
That's right, they're including us more.
Yes.
And the open installations, I think, have helped that too, to broaden our understanding of it all. And for, like, they invite younger people in to see what it's all about, because, you know, just curb that secret bit about it.
It's more public now.
Yeah, it's more public now. A lot more people know about things.
Yes.
Excellent.
And there's a lot more, even from the time that I've been involved, there are a lot more ladies in the South and nights where you are invited into the South.
And so what are some of the things that you're actually doing when you're in the South?
There's a meal involved.
Raffles are normally involved as well, so some fundraising for charity.
Well, back in 2010 they started the pink breakfasts, which have now changed, which is what they hoped it would do, and that's raised lots of money for the breast cancer nurses and other parts with breast cancer.
If there was a young girl who came to you and asked you for any kind of advice about how to support her partner now that he'd just joined Freemasonry, what would you say?
I'd tell her to get involved, that there are fantastic opportunities there to meet people, to travel. I'd encourage her to go along to an open installation to actually see what's going on, to talk with other wives, partners who are involved, to ask questions. Because today so much more about Freemasonry is spoken about than was spoken about going back maybe 50 years ago.
So there are many, many more benefits than they realise.
Definitely.
Not only for them, but for their partner as well. Okay, do any of you have any outstanding stories or perhaps highlights of your time within Freemasonry supporting your husbands that you can share?
Lots of travel, meeting so many different people. In the first Grand Lodge team that we were in, which was 2006, we made many friends then, including Louise here.
Yes.
And forged many friendships that still exist today. We continue to go to functions together.
And you just meet lifelong friendships. And you mightn't see people for 6 months or so, and you just pick up from where you left off. We happened to meet a couple from South Australia one year here, and then because we met them, another interstate one, and we now communicate by email and things, and it's just lovely.
One of the lodges that Chrys is involved with really does get the women involved. They meet once every 2 months, and while the men are at their lodge function, the women have something organised. So the women actually go along on the night, and we have a guest speaker or some type of presentation. We had a demonstration of chocolate making one night. We've had fashion parades. We've had art experts come in and talk to us about art. And then when the men are finished, we all go down together to the south. So that's been a great experience over the last couple of years.
Wow, our local lodge, we have a dine out every 3rd month. The men have a very short meeting. We all go to a restaurant and the ladies come along, we sit around. It's good fun, it's great, yeah.
A lot of eating out, a lot of shopping,
Yes.
a lot of networking, a lot of mini golf, a lot of dancing. Sounds like you guys, there's no shortage of fun. It's great.
There's always something to do.
Thank you all so much for coming along tonight and sharing your story. It's been great meeting you all, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. To find out more about Freemasonry, visit the Freemasons Victoria website at www.freemasonsvic.net.au or phone us on 1800 Freemason. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, Flickr, LinkedIn and Google+. Next week on Freemasons The Inside Story, we catch up with Grandmaster Hillel Benedict and Deputy Grandmaster Don Reynolds.
As the year has started, there's a range of merchandise that's available acknowledging the 125 years. You'll see the Deputy Grandmaster is wearing a lapel badge that celebrates that 125 years, and there's a number of other items for sale at the moment. And we're building up to a week of celebration in June.
See you then.